The forest of Moonridge Valley slept under a pale silver moon. Tall pine trees whispered in the night wind, their shadows stretching across the dirt road that led to a small village at the edge of the werewolf territory. The village was quiet, humble, far from the grand packhouses where powerful alphas ruled. A modest wooden cottage stood at the very end of the road. Inside, warm candlelight flickered against the walls. Lena sat at the small kitchen table, her fingers wrapped around a mug of tea that had long gone cold. Her eyes were distant. 5 years had passed, but some nights still felt like yesterday. Across the room, 2 small voices broke the silence. "Mama, look what we made." 2 little boys ran toward her, identical. Same messy dark hair, same bright silver. Gray eyes, same mischievous smiles, twins. Aiden and Rowan, they were 5 years old, energetic, curious, and far too clever for their age. Lena forced a gentle smile. "What is it?" Rowan held up a crooked wooden wolf he had carved with a dull knife. "It's the Alpha King." Aiden nodded proudly. "The strongest wolf in the whole kingdom." Lena's smile froze for a moment. The Alpha King. Even hearing the title made her chest tighten. She quickly masked the feeling. "And why did you make the Alpha King?" she asked softly. Rowan grinned. "Because we're going to see him today." Lena blinked. "Excuse me." Aiden puffed out his chest. "The town guard said the Alpha King is visiting the village today. He's inspecting all the borderlands," Rowan added dramatically. "They said he's very scary." Aiden shook his head. "But I'm not scared." Rowan crossed his arms. "Me neither." Lena's heart skipped. The Alpha King visiting here. After all these years, her stomach twisted. No, it can't be. There were hundreds of villages in the kingdom. Why would he come here? Still a strange unease settled in her chest. She stood. "Finish your breakfast first." But the boys were already bouncing with excitement. "Can we see him, please, Mama?" Lena hesitated. Every instinct in her screamed no, but refusing would only make them more curious. And besides, what were the chances he would notice them in a crowd? She sighed. "Fine." The twins exploded with excitement. Yes, the Alpha King arrives by midday. The village square was packed. Villagers lined the road, whispering nervously. Soldiers stood guard in dark armor bearing the royal wolf crest. Then the sound came, hoofbeats deep, powerful. A long line of black horses rode into the square. At their center rode a man who radiated authority like a storm waiting to break. The Alpha King, Kale-Draven, tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in black leather armor. His dark hair moved slightly in the wind, and his sharp silver eyes scanned the crowd with quiet dominance. Even the strongest wolves instinctively lowered their heads, because Kale-Draven wasn't just an alpha. He was the alpha of all alphas, cold, feared, unchallenged. The twins stood on a wooden fence trying to see. "Whoa," Rowan whispered. "He's huge." Aiden tilted his head. "Why does he look familiar?" Rowan squinted. "You're right." Lena, standing behind them, felt her heart slam violently against her ribs. The moment she saw him, the past crashed back like a tidal wave. 5 years ago, one forbidden night, one mistake she had run from. She lowered her hood, praying he wouldn't look this way. But fate had other plans, because Rowan suddenly shouted at full volume, "Hey!" The entire square went quiet. Aiden waved enthusiastically. "Mr. Alpha King." Kale's horse stopped. His silver eyes slowly turned toward the voice. The crowd parted as soldiers stepped aside, and then the Alpha King saw them. 2 identical boys standing on a fence, both staring at him with wide, curious eyes. Kale frowned slightly. Something about them felt strange. Familiar. Rowan leaned toward Aiden and whispered loudly enough for half the square to hear. "Doesn't he look like us?" Aiden nodded seriously. "Yeah." Then he looked straight at Kale and announced innocently, "Alpha King, you look like our dad." The world stopped. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Soldiers stiffened. Lena's blood turned to ice. No, Kale's expression hardened. His piercing gaze moved from the boys to the woman standing behind them. The hood slipped from Lena's head. And the moment their eyes met, Kale's entire body went still. Recognition flashed across his face like lightning. His voice dropped into a dangerous whisper. "Lena." The twins blinked. "Wait, Mama knows him." Kale dismounted slowly. Each step toward them carried the weight of a storm. His eyes moved back to the boys, studying them carefully. The same silver eyes, the same dark hair, the same sharp wolf aura. His wolf stirred violently inside him. A terrifying realization began forming. He looked back at Lena, his voice low, cold, dangerous. Explain. Lena's hands trembled. 5 years of secrets, and the truth had just shouted itself in the middle of the village. The twins smiled happily, completely unaware of the chaos they had just caused. "Mama," Rowan said, "why does the Alpha King look exactly like us?" The truth hidden in their eyes, the village square had never been so silent. Even the wind seemed to pause between the pine trees. All eyes were fixed on the same place. The Alpha King, 2 identical children, and the pale woman standing behind them. Lena, Cale Draven walked forward slowly, every step heavy with authority. The crowd instinctively stepped back, clearing a wide path. His silver eyes never left the twins. Up close, the resemblance was even stronger. The same sharp cheekbones. The same wolf aura, even the same stubborn tilt of the chin. His wolf stirred violently inside his chest. "Something is wrong." Rowan leaned closer to Aiden. "Why is everyone staring?" Aiden shrugged. "Maybe because we talked to the Alpha King." Rowan grinned proudly. "That means we're important now." The nearby villagers nervously whispered, "No one speaks to the Alpha King like that. Those boys must have lost their minds. Who is their mother?" Cale finally stopped in front of them. The twins had to tilt their heads back to look up at him. He was enormous. Aiden studied his face carefully. Then he said thoughtfully, "You really do look like us." A soldier behind Cale cleared his throat in panic. "Your Majesty, perhaps we should." Cale raised one finger. The soldier immediately fell silent. Cale crouched slightly, so he was eye level with the twins. His voice was calm but dangerously controlled. "What are your names?" The boys looked delighted. Rowan answered instantly. "I'm Rowan." Aiden pointed at himself. "And I'm Aiden." Cale nodded slowly. "And your father?" The twins looked at each other. Then Rowan said simply, "We don't have one." A murmur spread through the crowd. Cale's eyes shifted to Lena again. She looked like she might collapse. His voice dropped lower. "Where is their father?" Lena forced herself to speak. They don't have one." Cale's jaw tightened. "That is not what I asked." The twins were now thoroughly confused. Aiden tugged Lena's sleeve. "Mama, why are you shaking?" Rowan looked back at Cale. "Did we say something bad?" Cale studied them again. The scent coming from them was faint but unmistakable. Royal blood. His wolf growled, "They are ours." But that was impossible, wasn't it? Then Rowan suddenly brightened. "Oh, I remember something." Everyone froze. Lena's heart nearly stopped. Rowan continued cheerfully. "Mama said our father was a big, scary wolf who disappeared." Aiden nodded. "And she said we got his eyes." Cale slowly turned toward Lena. His gaze had become dangerously sharp. "You told them that?" Lena's voice trembled. "They're children. I had to tell them something." Cale stepped closer. The air itself felt heavy with power. 5 years ago, he said quietly, "You vanished from the capital without a word." Lena swallowed. "You were a servant in the palace." "Yes." "You disappeared the same night." His voice darkened. "We spent together." The entire square gasped. The twins blinked. Rowan whispered, "Wait, Mama kissed the Alpha King." Aiden looked impressed. "Mama, you never told us that." Lena wanted the earth to swallow her. Cale's eyes burned. 5 years ago, you told me you were leaving the palace. You said you wanted a quiet life." Lena nodded weakly. "Yes, but you never told me you were carrying my children." The words crashed over the crowd like thunder. The twins froze. Rowan blinked slowly. "Our what?" Aiden looked between them. Then he turned back to Cale. "You mean?" His eyes widened. "You're our dad." The entire square held its breath. Cale stared at them, at their identical faces, at the silver eyes that matched his perfectly, and something deep inside him finally accepted the truth. His voice was almost a whisper. "Yes." The twins exploded with excitement. "We have a dad." Rowan jumped off the fence and ran straight at Cale. Before anyone could stop him, he hugged the Alpha King's leg. Finally, the soldiers nearly fainted. No one, absolutely no one, touched the Alpha King without permission, but Cale didn't move. He simply stared down at the small arms wrapped around him. Aiden ran over. "Does this mean We're princes. Cale exhaled slowly. His life had just turned upside down in the middle of a village, and yet, something strange warmed in his chest. He placed a hand on each of their heads. Yes, he said quietly. You are? Lena's eyes filled with panic. No. Everyone turned to her. She stepped forward quickly. They cannot go with you. Cale's gaze hardened instantly. They are my sons. They are also my responsibility. They are heirs to the throne. Lena shook her head desperately. They're just children. They belong with their mother. Cale's wolf growled. They belong with both of us. The twins watched the argument with wide eyes. Rowan whispered to Aiden, Are Mom and Dad fighting already? Aiden nodded seriously. I think this is what married people do. Rowan looked worried. Should we hide? But Cale had already made his decision. His voice cut through the air like steel. Lena. She froze. You ran from me once. His silver eyes burned into hers, but this time, his voice became terrifyingly calm. You are coming back with me. He looked down at the twins. And so are my sons.